say to me in Bowers Game Corner.
YouTube, I'm back again for another How to Play video, and today I'm going to teach you how to play Down the Chimney dice and card game. This is for ages 5+, and it's for 2 to 6 players. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take out all the components out of this insert, then slide this insert back into the top of the box, and then set the chimney up so you can use it as something to roll the dice in the center where everyone can reach it. Next, you're going to put the action cards, after you've shuffled them up, right next to the chimney. Give the dice to the youngest player, and then you're going to shuffle up the gift cards, and you're going to deal 3 to each player, and players can have them face down in their hand or face up if they'd like. So right now we have a 3-player game set up. So on your turn, what you're going to do is really quite simple. You are going to roll the dice down the dice chimney right there, and then if you have any coal, you're going to set it off to the side. Now, if you ever get 3 coal, you immediately end your turn, and you just pass the dice to the next player on the left. However, most of the time that's not going to happen. Most of the time you're going to start rolling things like stars and presents, candy canes, snowflakes, all the symbols that are going to be on the bottom of your presents down here. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to look at your non-cold dice, and you're going to set aside any of them that you would like to use in order to help make the presents. So what the player's going to do is they're going to set aside any dice they'd like to keep and then re-roll any of the dice that they don't want to keep, except for the coal, which is going to stay over there. It can never be re-rolled. And once again, they will re-roll the remaining dice and save anything they want to keep. In this situation, they probably wouldn't want to keep anything, and they would re-roll the 3 dice one final time. You can roll them up to 3 times, and now the dice are locked in place, and hopefully they'll be able to build something. And we were able to, as we have the star, the present, the snowflake, and the mistletoe right here, which means we're going to successfully make the basketball. Which means this player would take the basketball, put it into a separate score pile, and then draw a new gift card because you will always have 3 gift cards to potentially make. Now, collecting this gift card is something that all the players get to do, which means that the other players in the game also get to use these dice to make items as well. So, for instance, this player over here could make this hat, and they could make this pair of binoculars. Which brings us to one major issue with the rule booklet, is that it does not tell you whether or not you can use the symbol on a die for more than 1 card. What I mean by right now is I have 1 snowflake. Could I use this 1 snowflake to make both the binoculars and the hat? It's not covered in the rules, so you're going to have to make a house rule right now. So do it! Either way, though, all the other players in the game who didn't roll the dice still get to make gift cards, and if they make things, well, then once again, they immediately draw a new gift card and put the gift card they scored into their score pile. At this point, whoever's turn it was passes the dice to the player on the left, and they do the exact same thing. But I want to focus a little bit more on some other things that could potentially happen on your turn. Now, one thing that can happen is that you can roll 3 of a kind on any of the symbols aside from the coal. Because once again, if you ever have 3 coal on the table, your turn is immediately over past those dice. But if you get 3 of a kind on any other symbol, then you can immediately end your turn, but not before you draw 1 action card from the top of the deck and immediately do whatever that action is. Now, in the action card deck, there are 3 cards. First, we have gift exchange. This means that you can exchange one of your own gift cards for a higher value gift card from another player or from the gift card deck. Now, if you're wondering if that means these gift cards or your score pile gift cards, once again, you're going to have to house rule because it doesn't mention it in the rule booklet. Next, we have the extra roll or nice card. This means you're going to roll all 6 dice 1 time, and you, and only you, can then make presents if you meet their requirement. And you only get 1 roll for this. You don't get 3 rolls like normal. And once again, no one else gets to make gifts on this, just the rolling player. And for this 3 of a kind, you don't have to do it on 1 roll. You can do it over numerous rolls. Last, we have the naughty lose a turn card, which means the player on your left, whose turn it should be right now, is actually going to lose their turn and will go to the next player. Kind of like a skip card. Any used action cards will be placed into a discard pile. I also want to clarify with this action card, that is a purely optional action. You could just roll 3 of a kind and decide, you know what, I don't want an action card, and just take your turn as per normal. Now, the game will end after 5 rounds, at which point every player is going to count their collected gift cards and count the points they've collected by looking at the numbers on the top left-hand corner of all their cards and adding them up. The player with the most combined gift card points wins the game. If there's a tie, the player with the most total gift cards wins. If there's still a tie, each player should roll 3 times, starting with all 6 dice. And what you're trying to do is set aside matching dice. And after the final roll, the player with the highest number of matching dice icons wins. Now, being quite frank, I hope you don't get to this tiebreaker because the rules say that each player should roll 3 times, and I don't know if they mean each tied player or just every player in the game. It's not clarified. Also, it says during the first and second roll of this bonus special tie scenario, you're supposed to set aside matching dice. I believe they mean only one type of die, but it doesn't clarify. What I mean by that is this would be a pair of matching die, and this would be a pair of matching die. Is that worth 4 points, or is that only 2 points? It also doesn't tell you what to do with coal in this scenario, so once again, just house rule it, I guess. But that's how you're going to play the Down the Chimney dice and card game. If this helped you out, please consider clicking on that subscribe button down below as I teach new games all the time, or potentially supporting the Patreon because that helps me out an awful lot as well. But thanks for your time. This video is brought to you by all of my amazing Patreon supporters, and I would love it if you would join their ranks and have your name immortalized in the end of many of my videos for the end of time. But consider for only $1 a month, and as always, thanks for stopping by.